Alright class, this is the last lecture here of the introductions here. Hopefully you had first three were useful information to get you guys started here. So next thing on the list here is the XYZHomework. I know it says .com here, and I'm going to fix it up a little bit later here. So here's the difference. If you have a XYZHomework account in the past, and if you have went to the website itself to do the work, we are no longer going to use the website. Part of the requirements is that we do have Gradebook integration with the XYZ. So real quick here, if you go to xyzhomework.com and you start logging in and you start doing the work on the website itself, the problem is that the grades here will not go back into Canvas. That's the issue here. So the integration is the fact that when you when you click on any one of these, it's going to ask you for a username or passcode if you already have an XYZHomework account. If you don't, what it's going to do, it's going to ask you to go and create one, and you do have 14 days as a free trial. So anyone, if you are new to XYZ and if you don't have an account, click on here, create an account, and you have 14 days free. And so in 14 days you should get a feel of whether you're going to stay in the class or not. And if you're going to stay in the class, then you pay for the access code. And I believe it is $45 for a year. So if you take another class that has XYZ products as a publisher, that would be free access to you. Alright, I can't do it anymore. I did it the first time. Now it just takes me to the homework page. But when I did it the first time, it asked me for a username and passcode, or on the bottom it asked me for to create a username and passcode and get into the 14-day free trial. Alright, so the integration of the gradebook, that's why this is sort of driving this integration between XYZHomework and Canvas. Alright, so let's go for it here. Let's go through a little introduction to it here. The ebook is the first thing that pops up. I did it first just in case you need to go to it, in case you need to review any material. You can click on that, and that's what I get from here. So then I have to just kind of click and go to the XYZHomework site directly. And I have to log in over here because it doesn't allow me to go beyond chapter 0 here. So I'm going to log in as my username and passcode. There it is. And now I have full access to everything. So Mr. McKeague, here's the author right over here. He's the author of a whole bunch of math textbooks here. He decided to have his own company, and part of having it is to have this little platform for people to engage in, a very interactive textbook. There's all these example problems do have a video solution to them, and then there's some extra problems you can use as well. So I'm in chapter 5 for some reason. Let me just go back, and I'm going to get back to chapter 1, if of course my contents page works. And I think it's more of a browser issue. If you guys experience this, I think it's just because Firefox doesn't like this here. So let me see if I can fix it. Alright, I fixed it. I had to go to Internet Explorer, and that's the way I did it. And so here is our textbook. Let me go to chapter 1, chapter 1.1, since you'll be starting out over there. And here it is. If you want to read it, that's fine. If you want to look at the video and you're not quite sure how they did this here, so you can click on the little practice example or the math video player, or you can click over here to any one of these people here. And so I'm going to click on Molly, and she will do a video explanation of this. Okay, so there it is. And then for each one of these here, as you go through the list here, you have an example from the textbook, example you can get from the videos here, as well as some extra practice problems if you like. And you kind of see whether you're getting it yourself before you start doing the homework itself. So that's a pretty cool way to do it. And then the math quill is exactly the same right over here too. So kind of gives you a lot of options here how to do this here. If you want to try some homework assignments from the back of the textbook, that's fine. Those are all right over here. There's a whole bunch of problem sets if you like. All right, and those are the answers to the odd questions. So a lot of stuff here you can really use for yourself as far as resources are concerned. All right, and then this last one I should mention. This one's the mini lecture is just a quick overview of the section. So 1.1, and it'll tell you what 1.1 is, and there's about 4 or 5 problems that are kind of like the basic questions of the textbook that'll get you an understanding of the section. All right, so I think that one's done always by the author. Let me just check down here. Let me see if it is down here as well. Oh, there it is. There's the mini lecture done by the author himself. So again, a lot of resources for you to understand the material. You have the YouTube videos, you have the ebook itself to read through, you have the TA videos over here, and then you also have the author video of the section itself. So please take advantage of this here depending on how you learn, and hopefully this will be successful for you this semester here. So on back to what we have here though. Let me go back to the home page. So that's the ebook. Underneath it is the entry guide, which we've seen in the last video. This one just tells you how to, in fact it actually I think points to the files menu directly here. You click on that. It tells you to download the how-to. I'm going to cancel it because it's going to come up here anyways. Alright, this is how you enter the data. We covered this in the last video as well. So maybe print it out, just have it with you just in case you forget how to plug in the data. And going back to the home page again, because that's where all our modules are set out. And I'm not sure how yours look because this is the teacher version, but I've set it up so that you do have to start with just quick 7 questions. And you have to do this first before you can progress to chapter 1. But 7 basic questions, and really it's just teaching you how to enter data. So this one is teaching you how to enter decimal numbers. This one is teaching you how to put in multiple solutions. So if you have more than one answer. Alright, so you kind of go through these just to give you a feel for it. And here's a square root input, fraction input, exponent input. Just to make sure you're familiar with that. Alright, for you guys, everybody should get 100% on this. If you're not getting 100% on this, you're not ready to go on. So everybody should get 7 for 7. Alright, this is interval notation, very important as we head through the class, as we finish up chapter 1 when we get into inequalities. And graphing, of course, entering dots on the graph paper. And then watching the demo and entering a combination here. Fractions, exponents, and square roots. All that put together. Alright, so that's the intro. Once you do those, you pass with a 7 out of 7. Then you're ready for chapter 1. Alright, the forums, I put them in here. I might just take them off, but I thought this would be a... Let me go back to chapter 1 here. So if you are stuck on a certain problem, you can click on here and it'll take you to the forum. Just kind of remember which problem it is. And let's see if this works well for everybody. This will post questions to everybody in the class. So I'm having trouble with question number 3 in chapter 1.1. Are you guys having the same trouble? And then you can have a little dialogue here as you look at it. I don't see any posts yet. We'll see how this works. This is kind of a trial version this time. Alright, let me jump back to chapter 1. And so when you click on it here, it should take you directly to the chapter 1 homework 1.1. With this integration, the only drawback I see is the fact that you don't see the full page like you would normally see on the XYZ homework site. So if you take your left and right arrow keys like this, the left and right arrow keys will allow you to go between left and right. And so you can see the whole question. Now most of the questions you won't need that because that's pretty easy right here. So 3x minus, let me kind of demonstrate here, minus x will give you a 2x. Alright, you click the preview button, the syntax says everything's okay. If you want to go, it'll get you to the videos for 1.1. If you want to go to that, it'll get this one click will get you to the ebook for 1.1. Alright, this one I was going to post to the forum, but this does not work the way I thought it was going to work. I tried it, I called even the publisher, and it says with the integration with Canvas, this does not work anymore. So I'm going to take this off pretty soon. But you submit the question. Green says you're good to go, you passed it, and then you just move on to the next question. Alright, the only thing I would suggest not to do, don't try a similar question, because then you're just starting over again. You don't want to do that. You want to be able just to reattempt the question. So if you're ever stuck on a question, don't click this button, click this one. Reattempt this question. It'll start over again, and then you can try it. Notice you do have 5 tries to answer the homework questions. So yes, you're 1 for 5. So I figure if you try it once, then you try it a second time if you thought like, oh, yeah, now I know what I did wrong. Once you get to try number 3 and try number 4, then this may be a good time to post to the discussion board saying, hey, I'm really having trouble with this. And you go from there. Alright, we will have weekly office hours as well. Hopefully I can get some of those questions answered. Kind of just leave them out for a little bit, saying, Mr. H, I do have some questions with this piece here. So that would be another way to go about solving it here. Alright, let me go back again. Alright, and the only thing to mention else is these little grayed out pieces here. If it's grayed out, it is not due. So we are skipping 1.7. Let's just kind of run through the list here. What else are we skipping? We are skipping 3.5 and 3.6. 6.5. We're not going to do 6.5. And that is it. The rest we are going to do. I'm sorry, well, chapter 10. Yeah, chapter 10, I don't think you see it on yours here. Chapter 10 we don't do either. So I'm going to make sure you guys don't see it on the student side. Alright, besides that, all the rest of them are to do. Alright, so hopefully this will give you enough information here. Again, also take a look at your grades as well, as that is set up as well. Alright, any further questions, please email me. And if I get the same question kind of going over and over again, then I will send out a all-class email explaining that as well. Thank you so much.